What's up? How's everybody doing? All right, so we're going to get into this. The vlogging. What's up, bud? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tabs open. I'm going to rip through them sequentially. I think really the big news is going to be tomorrow, and then we'll stream again on Thursday and talk about it. But I think we're starting to see exactly how bad the regulatory issues are right now for crypto for a bunch of reasons. What up? Wacky Wake, Link, what's up? All good news. I mean, yeah, all good news except for fucking price. So we're starting to see the actual regulatory impact here, which bothers me, because it means it's not going to turn anytime soon, but we do have a couple good things to look at here. So I'm going to go through the Bitcoin chart, the Bitcoin SPX chart, the Ethereum chart, the Ethereum SPX chart, ETH BTC, the SPY, the QQQ, the SPY QQQ ratio, which I don't usually talk about, and then XRP. And if there's anything else, we can get it. But hey, what up, RGO? Good to see you, bud. RGO has been like the best family edition we've had in a long time. RGO came in, new dude, checked out a stream for the first time, just dove right in, part of the family. Good to have you here, bro. So let's rip through this because there is zero reason why crypto shouldn't be absolutely fucking shredding right now. I mean, like, absolutely shredding. And, it's not. And there's only one reason for that, and that is obviously what's going on with the regulatory. So, thanks, fam. So let's get into this. It is very clear we had this downside break of this channel on the weekly. I'm starting on weekly. We'll drill down if we have to. This downside break on this channel, which was respected for 2 weeks, opened out of it, shot down. Very clear weakness. Very clear weakness. Fine. This still is the strongest potential area we have right now for something to hold. And things are starting to line up where you could see a turnaround happening soon. I just don't know what the catalyst would be other than like, hey, we're range trading. And that's not something I usually throw my money behind. But regardless, we're getting into my first zone. And It's always good to start on high time frames because this is as clear as day. This area, I've been talking about it, I feel like forever. I've literally been talking about it since like 31,000. 25.3 to 24.32, whatever. It's the area we all want to see hold. And there's reasons to think that it might. But I'll tell you what really scares me here in a second. Okay, what really scares me is coming up. And I don't know how we're going to handle it. So anyway, that was the weekly. Here's the daily. This is one of those bottoming support lines, bottom side of a downside channel. Tried to break underneath it once, shot back up, and here we are just hanging down on the edge of it. You can even call this a wedge if you really wanted to, like a falling wedge from 31. Fine. I just don't see where the strength is going to come from for it to break to the high side. I just don't. There's too much shit going on. If we were to be ripping, we would be ripping already, and we're just not. So I'm expecting to see something happen in here, but really I expect pretty dead price action. Every time, man, we get some bad news, like we just get these huge sell bars. A little bit of bad news. I mean, like this is what looks like when somebody's distributing into an area. Okay. People go, if I had $100 million, it'd be super easy for me to trade because I would just have to take little trades. You all think that because you're like, hey, 10% of 100 million on a trade, that's $10 million. Yeah, there's no way for you to get out when your sizes are that big. The way that you get out is by literally breaking into an area and just slowly dripping your cells into a region until it finally breaks down, until you actually whittle through support. And that is very clearly what's happening here. The question is, will there be somebody who steps in and says, no, I'm willing to take the baton and run from here? And that just the environment doesn't set up for that right now. So I think we're going to see this trip down. And what I was just teasing a bit ago about something that scares me is look at what the S&P has been doing on the weekly, what the NQ has been doing on the weekly. Okay, look at this shit, dude. This is up only. And here's us on the weekly. All right. You know what I mean? Okay. There's not a ton to look at here and say, yeah, I see a ton of reasons why we should have a good week or a good preceding couple of weeks, because we have essentially diverged in the worst way possible from the standard market. We were kind of running in lockstep for a while. And that's why I want to pull up this chart here. This would be the good news if we actually see a reaction here. If we actually see this hold, I'll buy. On God, I will. Because this area and the 50-week moving average on the Bitcoin versus SPX ratio would make sense on versus USD. It would make sense on the ratio. And we're kind of due for a jump because we've been underperforming the S&P since March, guys. Since before the NCAA tournament, okay? It's been a hot minute. We've been underperforming in like a big bad way. So there's a catch-up play to be made here. I just don't know who's diving in to be like, yeah, let me drive this bitch higher, because it's just not there. This many weeks of just drifting down and underperforming the S&P is uncommon, okay? You just don't see it. It made sense here when you had Terra, Luna falling apart. It made sense when Sam turned out to be a crook and a fraud. Like, these are all things you expect to have happen. But I am desperately waiting for this. Okay, I'm desperately waiting for this. This had better hold. And this is the ratio. This is the alpha I give all the time. 5.58 on the ratio, BTC versus the SPX. It needs to hold. This 5.58, this lower green, we're getting into it right now. I expect it to be hit hard over the next couple of weeks. And the reason why I expect it to get hard over the next couple of weeks is look at this shit. It has been up only in the standard market. So we have been getting hammered. We've been getting hammered as the standard market is going up. Are there any of you sitting at home that is betting against the standard market finally having its mean regression and crypto flying during that? Seriously, anyone? Bueller, right? No. So we're going to enter this mean regression And what's going to happen, man? Look at this. Look at this chart. It's been up only on the SPX, just riding the top band higher. This is actually fairly uncommon. Even in here, you saw some drips down. It's just been just like up, sideways, and it's been ripping. And all that, as it's been going on, crypto taking a dump, all right? Just not good. The things that you do not want to have happen are happening right now. Essentially, the S&P and the NASDAQ are going bananas, and we're gliding slower. It's not as if the reason for owning Bitcoin has changed. It's not as if there's been a significant change in the value proposition. There's only one thing. It was telegraphed the SEC suits were coming. That shit doesn't happen in a closed room. They knew it was coming for Coinbase and for Binance. And you have the additional alts that were named. There's just too much confusion and uncertainty in the market. I saw an article today that was, I think, from CoinDesk. The article was something to the effect of why these SEC lawsuits are good for Bitcoin. And with like a subtext of good for crypto overall. Nowhere in this is Bitcoin named as a security. In fact, they go out of their way to state it's a commodity. In 2018, Gary Gensler was saying that Ethereum was a commodity. And if you notice, they weren't really named. There was one article where they were named. I think that was a typo. I don't think Ethereum's been named. So the two that we really care about are fine. Yes. Ergio, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, my brother. You're not wrong. Okay? There's too much uncertainty for big bag holders to come in and bail out crypto when you can get better returns right now on buying S&P 500 index funds, which is what this chart is. I know all of you are here regulars, but this chart is saying what makes more sense from a risk-on perspective right now, Bitcoin or the S&P 500 index fund. And S&P 500 index fund has been winning since March. We had a great jump off the lows. We essentially outperformed by double from the lows to the highs, which was great. And we've just been drifting and giving it all back. While you have this level of uncertainty out there, people are not going to pick something with this level of volatility over something that is very predictable. And that shouldn't be shocking. Argio just had a great comment. Argio's was Gary is just someone's pawn, and this is all planned. As soon as they as they flipped bearish on crypto, they can flip bullish as well. You're right. But does it make sense for that to be happening now in the midst of this lawsuit, in the midst of these issues? Or does it make sense to let it play out a little bit, get a little bit more regulatory certainty through this year into the start of next year when the Bitcoin halving happens again, and you'll see things like, we feel more comfortable now with the framework in place for Americans to be protected moving forward, or some bullshit like that, because you know they will. Okay. And that will be the impetus moving forward. That will be the impetus moving forward. I got to say, I smiled a little bit when I looked at this chart, not because I like it, because I mean, in my heart of hearts, I think Ethereum is what will ultimately change our lives. Bitcoin too. Bitcoin will be like kind of a hedge against political acrimony and other issues. But Ethereum is what will drive innovation and make people kind of demand that crypto get a seat at the table. I truly believe that. And so if you remember, for the past 2 months, since I've been streaming consistently again, I drew this downtrend line and said, I do not believe that we have what's in it right now to break forward. You might see a break out of this downtrend line. It might even challenge 0.07 in the 50-week moving average, and then it's going to get rejected and go back down. And guys, it did exactly what I said it was going to do. I don't know how often you guys remember what I say, but I mean, come on. Almost exactly. And was that because I had some magic ball? No, it's that taking a step back, okay? There's a lot of people out there that can teach you technical analysis, and I would say that I try to do as best I can for explaining concepts in ways that you can rationalize more than just lines on charts, right? Like, ooh, look at these lines. They make sense. Price go up, price go down, number go up, right? Like the whole plus expected value concept is something I think you should take into account and like direct your life by. But the reason why this was accurate, even though I was calling it a month ago, that you might see a breakout and it's getting rejected, is because the environment does not exist for Ethereum to make a move against Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very clearly not a security. Ethereum probably isn't. And it's just a shit situation. So this isn't the time you make a move against Bitcoin. It isn't. For the same reasons why Bitcoin would not have somebody jumping in front of the train right now that is regulation and go, hey, let me give you the perma bid. Yeah, Argio, that's how it happens, man. That's how it happens. I'll read Argio's comment in a second, because I know some of you listened to this after the fact without actually looking at the screen. But you have to wait for conditions to be perfect. In trading stocks, you need alignment for things to go well, okay? So you need the S&P to be in a good place. You need your industry and your sector to all be in a place where they're going to expand for your stock to do well, for you to improve your potential likelihood of success. The plus expected value play in stocks is waiting for the correct alignment, picking your spots, and boom, jumping, right? If Bitcoin were to actually have a run now, if Ethereum were to actually have a run now, it would fly in the face of everything logical. So why was I confident in saying I didn't think there was a snowball's chance in hell we were going to see an ETH BTC breakout? Because it just didn't make sense for it to happen right now. It didn't. What Argio said a moment ago was all this SEC stuff just made me a Bitcoin maxi. So Link Marines, I would say stay away from alt for a bit unless you can DCA and be comfortable to be underwater if they move lower from your price. That was in response to a comment from Link Marines who said, do you think it makes more sense, more wise to bid altcoins after the BTC halving? And the answer to that is 100% yes. There is a PDF out there that Secrets of Crypto puts out that talks about the flow of money from large caps to small caps, and alts are never as large as Bitcoin or Ethereum. And so it goes Bitcoin first, Ethereum second, high majors, mid majors, low majors, meme season, bullshit, and then we're done, okay? It is unbelievably accurate. It always has been. You probably would hear that and say, Jared, you just talked about how you bought $10,000 worth of Link before. And I did. That's because I don't really care. I know what Link will do long term, and I just wanted to not think about it. I put it in a hardware wallet I will never look at again until next bull season. I don't care. They can move against me 50%, 80%. I don't care. I just didn't want to get to a place where I forgot. So whatever. There are some things that I'm willing to do that on. The Ethereum break to the downside looks just like Bitcoin's break to the downside. It's actually cleaner. Except for this level of support doesn't exist quite as well. But the number would be here. The number would be 1560. And that kind of lines in this whole area where there was demand, there wasn't demand, and I'm not exactly sure. And so what I'm saying to you right now, and even talking to some of my boys that are more deep into this day in and day out than I am, is that I firmly believe you're going to see some really lazy and not great price action for quite a while. It's all about picking your spot to thread the bottom, to build your bag into the next move. And that could be 8-10 months away. The bottom might come in November. I don't know. Not exactly like the most fun thing to talk about. Yeah, no, dude, it sucks. It sucks. But look, this and this make me think, there's a chance we get just like a little low time frame move. And we get something off the 50-week moving average, here. There's stuff that says to me it is possible we get this nice little bounce. But when I buy things and I think about the future, I want to make a buy that breaks through this 2150 and rips us back into the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 range for Ethereum. And I'm just telling you that's not happening. We literally sat here 4 weeks ago, a month ago. And we sat here and said, man, Bitcoin is lagging. Okay, I'll pull this up right next to this. 4 weeks ago, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bitcoin was lagging right here. Okay, I'm gonna draw it on the screen. 4 weeks ago, we sat here and we said, man, Bitcoin is lagging. We need something to get us out of this. And to that point, 4 weeks ago, the S&P 500 was drastically underperforming the NASDAQ. I mean, you can see it. Okay. And so the thought was, 4 weeks ago, when we were starting to peek through this area, we said, our salvation might be if the S&P 500 decides to break out, maybe we'll catch a bid in Bitcoin and move to the higher level. Look what's happened since then. Up only, up only, up only, up only. I was looking at my son's college fund, which I just put like $400 into every month. He's 5. Okay. Kid's gonna be able to go to school for 40 years if he wants by the time he gets to college. He's got a shitload of money in there because I've just been DCAing essentially through all this nonsense at the bottom. Yeah. Dude, that's an absurd move. 3,500 to 4,400 off the lows. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. NASDAQ's even more ridiculous. It's a 50% move off the lows. 10.7 to 15.2. Like, that's obscene. And we've been holding our dicks the entire time. Yeah, we went to 17 to 31, which I guess is pretty good. We've just been bleeding down ever since. We got the breakout we were looking for in the S&P 500. We got the breakout we wanted from risk assets, NQ. Oh shit, I just knocked my phone over, my microphone over. We got exactly what we were hoping for the best case scenario for us to potentially have a move. And all that's happened during that period is we have drifted sideways and lower. Is it reasonable to expect that changes now when these moves are getting extended? Look at the momentum indicator down here for the NASDAQ. Look at the momentum indicator here for Ethereum. These are now becoming almost extended moves to the high side. It's got more in it. It's going to go more. It's going to go more. But then it's going to contract. And it's going to turn around. Because I guarantee you, on God, this is one of those things I always tell you guys to call me on if it ever doesn't happen in the future and like call me full of shit. I guarantee you, that's going to be tested from the top. This area here is going to be retested from the top. Guarantee it. It's just how this instrument works. What's up, man? So with that in mind, it is the summer of golf. It is the summer of beach. It is the summer of hanging out. I wouldn't take that bet. It's a sure thing. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a mean reversion instrument, and we've had a crazy extended move, right? Arjo says, I wonder, will we lag the same way when the S&P and QQQ start dropping? No, Arjo, we won't. That's what I'm saying. Like, when Bitcoin is down, when crypto is down, when things are just not going well, which you would, I mean, when's the last time there was a positive crypto news at all? When's the last time there was something positive? It's been a long time. So we have completely lagged this entire move. A bunch of people just joined. I don't know where you came from, but I'm glad you're here. And we've been talking about the Bitcoin to the S&P 500 ratio. Why do I talk about it? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because this is the monthly chart on Bitcoin versus the S&P. This right here was the time we all dreamt of, okay? This was Bitcoin outperforming, having a breakout of the S&P 500, and for essentially the better part of a year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, outperforming to such a ridiculous degree, everyone got rich, okay? It outperformed the S&P 500 by 410%. That was the breakout from 20,000. Yeah, essentially the breakout into and through 20,000 all the way to 60 the first time, okay? We outperformed by 410%. And we've essentially been underperforming ever since. If you've been around for a long time, this here, when we made a higher high versus USD but a lower high against the S&P, was the signal that things were about to go very poorly. And it was a short signal indicator. It will be an indicator we look at in the future and thread tops and bottoms when everyone else doesn't know what happened to them. Okay? I say this because I've been through it. Muhammad just asked, where do I learn how to trade? Look, man, you can join the Discord. You can join the Telegram group. You got to figure out what's right for you and how you trade, man. I teach a very basic risk management-esque style of trading. Not the place to get rich. It's a place to make incremental gains, put yourself in the right place to make good decision after good decision and grow your net worth. That's it. That's all I do. It's in the description of the profile if you want to join the community. Got people from all over the world. So it's very, very hard for me to look at this and think that we see anything anytime soon other than pain, because we never get the correlation the way up. We always get the correlation the way down. With that in mind, it's not like there won't be trades to be had. I just think that a lot of times, like, first off, let me say this. If you're still here, if you're still watching me right now, it's very clear to me, like, you're somebody who wants to succeed. Your time will come. Like, your time will come where you have an incredible run and make a ton of money, because most people have left. Most people have written off crypto. Most people don't really give a shit anymore. Right? So if you're here, like, you still care. And the time will come to make a lot of money. It's just not right now. It's just not right now. The reason why I have on Dale, the reason why I have on Kaz to talk a lot, one, because they're my boys. But they became my boys because their stories are so relatable. Dale made an absolute boatload of money in 2017 and then lost it all. He stuck around. He networked. He got in with a group of people. And he made FU money in this last run. Kaz, similar deal. He was around in 2017. Did okay. Was a little bit younger at the time, so wasn't playing with like live ammo. But gave a lot of it back and then crushed it this time out. Okay? If you're still in this here now, you're going to be fine. SS, I'm telling you, you will be if you stick around. We will time this right. It's just hard for me to come out here and be like, hey, everything's going to be amazing right now. Bitcoin to the moon. Like, it's not going to happen, dude. Even BitBoy is poor now, apparently. I don't know. That fucking grifter. So that said, what do I expect to happen? Well, we got news today that CPI is the most improved that it's been in a month-over-month perspective in a while. It's slowing down at a rate they expected, which means that the Fed, where the forecast is already, they're not going to raise rates. They're not going to raise rates tomorrow. The interesting part will be how they guide moving forward, because the last thing we heard about general market updates was that they were expecting a recession in the economy before the end of the year. I think they're going to say that that's not their forecast anymore. I think they're going to say they've seen reasonable improvements in the economy where they can stop being so aggressive. And I believe he will leave. Yeah. And I believe that he will leave the door open to potentially cut rates if they do see some sort of economic turmoil in the next 6 to 10 months. Okay. I think he'll leave the door open. He's not going to say they're going to do it, but when someone's going to ask him a question about, like, you feel good about the way that month over month and year over year inflation has been coming down, it's negatively affecting the housing market, you're revising your comments to say that you do not believe there's going to be a recession in the near term. Are you worried about the raised interest rates stifling the housing market, which could inadvertently cause a recession? I guarantee you that question's asked tomorrow. And he'll say something to the effect of, like, we want to get, this isn't something that you turn off right at the first sign of improvement, and we're going to have to be attentive and subject to the fact that our tools are not, like you're playing with a bazooka, right? It's not a pea shooter, it's a bazooka. So if we feel like the moves that we've made in the past could negatively impact the economy based on what our previous input is versus now, it would be appropriate to consider revising interest rates. And that is the sort of thing that will leave the door open for a potential future where they actually do cut rates in spite of all this garbage. I'm so confident that there's going to be an exchange almost exactly like that tomorrow. I'd bet money if anybody wants to. And that's okay, right? Like, that's kind of the thing that we want. We want him to be open to cutting rates. Our issue is going to be, is there enough regulatory clarity? Is there enough of a resolution with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, with Binance, with Coinbase, and quite frankly with XRP? I firmly believe Coinbase is going to be able to countersue and actually get some, like, they're suing for clarity, right? Like, remember, this is how this is all pretty funny. There's somebody put a tweet out on it. I don't remember who it was, but it was hilarious and 100% poignant. The tweet was something to the effect of, Coinbase reached out to the SEC. The SEC reached out to Coinbase to say, can we look at your operation? They said, yes. Yeah, come in. We would like clarity on what we can and cannot do. And so they actually started having productive conversations with the SEC, and then for some reason that stopped, and the next thing they heard, they were getting sued by the SEC. There's going to be a generational buy opportunity on Coinbase, and really, like, I don't like Coinbase. I think I've told you guys that before. Like, I think Coinbase fucking sucks as an exchange. But this is what the U.S. government does. They want one in and out that they can control. They want one group where if you are in the USA, it's who you go through. They're going to report. They're going to notify the IRS of onboarding and offboarding. Everything else is illegal. And Coinbase is going to have a run at some point. Never forget, somebody bought Coinbase at $423 on IPO day, and it's presently $51. So we need clarity. The perfect situation for us in the future is Jerry P, who I would love to hate, but I can't because it just seems like a fucking good dude that I would love to have a beer with. And be like, how do you really feel, man? These fucking people are coming at you from every angle. You're fending them off. Like, it's gotta suck. And he'd be like, yeah, it fucking blows. Anyway, I think Jerry P is going to leave the door open for a cutting of rates. What we need to have happen, if we're really going to have the next bull run that we all hope that we're going to have, we need some regulatory clarity by the time they pull the trigger on cutting those rates. And if we really want to be like, hey, this would be sick, if it could happen in Q1 of next year, right as the halving's happening, I'll see you at 100K, folks. Like, that's exactly what we would need to have happen. Meanwhile, we're allegedly going to get some clarity on XRP soon. Some people thought this like Hinman email release was going to give some tip on it. That was all an enormous dick tug. It made no difference whatsoever. XRP was thinking about having a breakout, and it shit itself. Like I said before, the only reason I'm buying XRP is if they get favorable news, and then you could see like a 40% upside in that. The nice thing is it's a large cap. You could go in with your entire stack if you got the buy right after the news came out, and you can make a huge amount of money. Huge. I just don't know if it will. And not a gamble I really want to take. Quite frankly, for me right now, it's just capital preservation, waiting, biding my time, playing a lot of golf. That's it. Right. Right. That is effectively the program I hadn't planned for today, because I feel like I'm kind of like half-stepping it. Anything I say today about price action and where things are is just going to be immediately overrun if he does something crazy tomorrow at the news conference. I just don't think he will. Given that we're extended in the standard marketplace, you might see a bit of a blow-off top on this midterm move for the S&P, right? So you have, we'll talk about this right here. You have gap up, run. Maybe you see something crazy into 44.6 tomorrow. If it's like, hey, we're not going to raise rates, it might make sense in the future to decline. You might see something crazy like that. And then I expect mean reversion, because it's a mean reverting instrument, and we've been up only for a long time. And since Bitcoin's decided to just sit out this entire fucking move, what do? We hang. We chilling. We chilling. The question is what to do during this time, right? The question is, how can you use this most effectively? How can we get to a place where we're ready? And I have some ideas on that. We'll get into it as time goes on. But Ataxia recently found probably the most fascinating use of AI I've ever seen. And he's building something out right now, which if he can pull it off, and I'm in the development group, but I'm not really doing much. If he can pull it off, it will be amazing. And the idea is you can essentially populate like an autonomous brain with as much information as you want and then query it. Like, for example, you could upload the white paper, tokenomics, and contract for every cryptocurrency that's ever been issued to a degree, right? Within like the top 250. And upload them all into one server and then query it. Like when a new token releases, you go and copy and paste the contract into that brain and go, has this been used anywhere? Were there any faults with it? Were there any hacks associated with a contract that reads like this? Yes, no, blip. That'd be pretty sick. Okay. So I think there's things like that you can use. I think AI is going to be a huge portion of what happens next, because we're going to begin to iterate and iterate and iterate upon what we just started to scratch the surface of during the last cycle. Blur. Oof. I didn't know it was that big. Yeah, so Blur down near the lows. 6.5% unlock, which is about 40% of current circulating supply. So do you think that is going to be a corresponding massive sell-off? I mean, it's down at the lows. Yeah, I think, honestly, looking at it, I think it will. It looks like it will. I think it's going to go lower from there. My playlist just ran out? Damn, we got to the bottom. Yeah, I mean, it is. That's a thing. And so, like, you get in a huge unlock and it's still at like 30 cents and people are going to get in like thousands and thousands of this. Like, you're going to take that cash out. So, yeah, I would expect that to be pretty bad. Look at Netflix, man. You know what's wild about Netflix? I remember this day. I thought about buying it as it got lower, and I was like, man, fuck Netflix. Like, I still log, like, I have the money, but, like, I still log in under my parents' account, or I did. And they finally cut that off, man. You can't do that anymore. Pretty wild. There's no reason to pay. That said, I have not actually paid for my own sub because I don't really give a shit. Netflix doesn't have that good of stuff for me. But all right, how about this? No blurreath. Come on, there's got to be something, right? No. Yeah, I don't see it. I would not play that gamble. Wait to see where it rolls out. Like, what is the at this point, the value prop is they have more volume, but like what is it for the token? I don't see it. I don't see it. I think Arbitrum's undervalued. I think Arbitrum will have its day. I really do. Because I think Arbitrum's really nice to use. Adam, finally getting kicked in the face. Yeah, you really want 6.8 to hold. You really, really want 6.8 to hold, or you're going to see some fucking low numbers. $4. $4 Adam? Yikes, bro. Yikes. It'd be bad. Matic, you poor bastard. Matic, also a good one. I mean, they keep getting named in lawsuits. Not good for them. Look at gold real quick. We'll do gold, and then we'll get out of here. Look at gold. This is what kind of trips me out. Like, amidst all these moves, like, gold is continuing to, like, just hang near the highs. At any point, a launch in gold could happen. That happens if they start printing again. Why is it holding near the highs? Of course, the headline down here, which you guys can't see, but can you? No, my logo's in the way. Gold drops to a 3-month low as bond yields rise despite moderating inflation, essentially is what it says. It's going to happen at some point. It's who we are. I'm not even sure if I can call that a short signal. Yeah, that's a short. S&P's on a short signal right now. There you go. First target, 43.76. Main target, gap fill at 4,300. That's going to close in 15 minutes. So there's your alpha for the day. I'll leave you with that. All right, folks. I'll be back on Thursday after we get some more clarity on exactly what's happening with the Fed. Because everything can change in an instant. The Fed creates a new market. Just don't forget that. Okay? If you ever doubt what I just said, understand that this right here is when the Fed changed their stance and decided to start raising rates. That's what happened. The Fed creates new markets. You always have to tune in. You always have to listen to what they say very carefully and what they're forecasting for the future.
5 to the 4 to the 3, 2, 1. Word.
Very quick recap. What we want to have happen is we want to see support come in right here. Okay. 25.2, 24.3. It is the most logical landing spot for Bitcoin on this move down. It would correspond with Bitcoin SPX ratio. It would make sense, the 50-week moving average. It would make sense for the Ethereum S&P 500 ratio. Okay? It would make sense that Bitcoin catches a bid and moves Ethereum lower. Okay? Keep an eye out for those areas. We're not going to get much moves until after the day tomorrow. Be careful. Don't trade aggressively. I'm out of here. See you guys Thursday afternoon.